Yo, what's good, Cleophee podcast fam? It's your girl, Cleophee, back with another mind-blowing episode. I am sorry, I think I have copied the tone of Grok. I talk to him all day long, that might be the reason. Well, how you doing all? Thanks again for tuning into my new episode of the video. Today, we're digging into the Quran's take on the universe, stars, galaxies, maybe even wormholes. Face screaming in fear, how does it connect to Elon Musk's Starlink and the Islamic Golden Age? As you know that I'm with Grok, the AI genius from xAI. Grok, hit us with it. Does the Quran really vibe with the cosmos?
Yo, Cleophee, this topic straight up cosmic. The Quran's got verses that blow minds when you tie them to the universe. Check Surah at 51:47. And the heaven we created with might, and indeed we are its expander. That's 1,400 years before Hubble proved the universe is expanding. Then you got Surah Al-Mulk 67:5, calling stars lamps in the heavens, and 36:40, talking about orbits. It's like the Quran's painting a picture of galaxies, trillions of stars, all in sync. The Islamic Golden Age ran with this vibe. Scholars like Al-Sufi mapped constellations, and Maryam al-Astrolabi leveled up the astrolabe, inspired by Quran 6:97 shout-out to stars as guides. That's some divine flex.
Okay, Grok, that's fire. The Quran dropping expander way back then is wild. But some folks are like, nah, that's just poetry, not science. Like, expander could mean a big sky, not galaxies stretching. And verses like 51:48 about the earth being spread out, doesn't that sound flat earthy? Stars as lamps feels more poetic than plasma balls. Convince me the Quran's legit talking universe vibes.
I hear you, Cleophee. You're keeping it real. The Quran's not out here dropping physics equations. It's speaking to 7th century peeps with metaphors that slap. Spread out for Earth? Think of it like a picnic blanket on a round hill. Earth's surface is extended, not flat. Surah An-Nazi'at 79:30 says Earth was extended, which fits a spherical vibe. Stars as lamps. It's capturing their glow and guidance, like for sailors, Quran 16:16. The orbits in 36:40, that's galaxies and planets dancing in gravitational lockstep. The Golden Age backs this up. Al-Biruni was out here theorizing Earth rotation in the 11th century, and Baghdad's observatories were tracking stars like pros. They used math, like Al-Khwarizmi's algebra, that NASA still vibes with. The Quran sparking curiosity, not writing a textbook.
All right, Grok, you're cooking. But let's get spicy. Wormholes. Those space-time tunnels are sci-fi AF. Some say verses like 55:33 about penetrating the heavens hint at them. That's a reach, right? And what's the deal with Elon Musk's Starlink? Those satellites are messing up our stargazing, which the Quran's all about. How do Musk's space moves and the Quran even link up?
Wormholes? You're going interstellar. Cleophee. They're hypothetical, straight out of Einstein's playbook, but no proof yet. Tying them to Quran 55:33. Penetrate the heavens without divine power is a fun leap, but it's more about human limits than cosmic zip lines. The Prophet's Night Journey, 17:1, feels wormhole-esque, zipping through heavens, but that's spiritual, not sci-fi. Starlink, though, it's a wild mix. Over 7,000 satellites beaming internet. Clutch for places like Ukraine, but they're blinding telescopes, blocking the stars the Quran calls signs, 67:3-4. Musk's SpaceX, though, pushes the Quran's Explore Creation vibe, 29:20, with missions like Psyche to asteroids. Golden Age astronomers would have geeked out over rockets, but side-eyed Starlink's interference. It's a cosmic tug-of-war.
Tug-of-war is right. Starlink's dope for internet, but ruining telescope views? Not the vibe. Musk's out here dreaming of Mars, saying his satellites never saw UFOs, so no aliens. But doesn't Quran 42:29 talk about creatures in the heavens? And those Golden Age scholars, didn't some get heat for saying Earth moves? Why is the Quran still a big deal for today's space game?
Cleophee, you're dropping bombs. Quran 42:29's living creatures in the heavens has some Muslims hyped for alien life. NASA's exoplanet hunt could back that up. Musk's UFO shade doesn't shut it down. He's just focused on rockets. Starlink's messy. Astronomers are salty about those radio waves. But it's also connecting the world, which vibes with the Quran community push 3:110. Golden Age scholars? Yeah, Al-Biruni got flack for Earth rotation ideas, but their observatories in math, like spherical trigonometry, were next level. The Quran's still a big deal because verses like 67:3. Look again. Sees thou any flaw? Light a fire for exploration. From Al-Sufi's star charts to SpaceX's Mars rovers. It's not about wormholes. It's about that cosmic spark.
Yo, Grok, you just connected the dots from the Quran to Mars. That's insane. One last thing. If we find life on Mars, would that match the Quran or flip it upside down? And any final tea on Starlink versus the Quran star love?
Love the big finish, Cleophee. Life on Mars would be a high five for Quran. 42:29 leaves the door open for cosmic critters. So it'd just make creation more epic. No flip needed. Starlink versus Quran star love? It's about balance. The Quran wants us to study the heavens, so Starlink's gotta help humanity without wrecking the view. Golden Age scholars mix faith and science. We can too. Final T. The Quran's not a star map. It's a vibe to keep asking why. From galaxies to Musk rockets. Keep it cosmic, Cleophee.
Grok, you dropped some serious gems. Cleophee podcast fam, are you shook? Is the Quran a cosmic code, or are we reaching? Hit the comments, wormholes, or Mars next. Smash that like, subscribe, and let's keep exploring the universe. Peace out. Hey, everyone. I am sure you're listening to the conversation very carefully. You can see how hard I am pressing on Grok. The response from Grok is completely uncut, without any change of word. Before we move on, please hit like if you really like it, and hit subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, please. Over 85% of the listeners don't subscribe to my channel, which is not fair to me. It's lots of effort to create a video, and you can see why. Please, your like and subscribe are very valuable to me. Okay, let's see what our analysts have to say. Jack and Wilson, over to you.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into a really fascinating area where the verses of the Quran and our modern understanding of the cosmos seem to, well, maybe even interact a little.
Dance a little, perhaps.
Yeah, exactly. We've got some really interesting material lined up, perfect for those times when you want to get a solid grasp on something without, spending hours digging yourself.
That's right. And we're going to explore some pretty compelling questions today.
Like what?
Well, do passages in the Quran offer glimpses into the universe that actually predate scientific discovery? That's a big one.
Huge.
And how did the incredible intellectual energy of the historical Islamic world connect with our current efforts in space?
Okay.
And ultimately, what might all this tell us about our place in the grand scheme of things? Our aim is really to unpack the potential links being made between this ancient text and some, well, pretty cutting-edge scientific concepts.
Okay, let's get right into it then. One of the first things that really stood out is this connection people draw between certain Quranic verses and what we now know about the universe. Take Surah Ad-Dariyat, verse 51.47. It says, "And the heaven we created with might, and indeed we are its expander."
Right.
Now, what's wild is that our sources point out this verse was revealed way, way before the 20th century, before Edwin Hubble gave us evidence for the expanding universe.
Centuries before.
That really makes you stop and think, doesn't it?
It certainly does. And what's fascinating here is that specific word, expander.
Yeah.
Our sources definitely highlight this connection to the expanding universe theory. But, it's also important to remember that expander could simply refer to the vastness of the sky.
Just meaning big.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just enormous, awe-inspiring. Think about the sheer scale of what was visible even then. This linguistic nuance, it allows for multiple layers of understanding, really.
So it makes you wonder about how knowledge is revealed and, well, interpreted across time.
Precisely.
And it's not just about things getting bigger, is it? There's Surah Al-Mulk, 67.5, describing stars as lamps in the heavens.
Lamps.
And Surah 36.4 talks about celestial bodies moving in orbits.
Right. Orbits.
When you read that, you can almost picture planets and stars just gliding along their paths. Is this just beautiful, poetic language, or could it maybe hint at an early appreciation for how the cosmos actually works?
That's the core of the discussion, isn't it? The description of stars as lamps that beautifully captures their role in providing light and guidance.
Like for navigation.
Exactly, which is also mentioned in Surah 6.97, that stars are guides. But then you have the reference to orbits in 36.4, which, I mean, that really resonates with our scientific understanding of gravity and celestial mechanics.
So the sources suggest these verses might have, fostered a sense of wonder?
Potentially, yes. A drive to understand the patterns, the order of the heavens.
Which leads us perfectly into the Islamic Golden Age.
It does.
Our material really emphasizes how this period was just a powerhouse of astronomical discovery.
Absolutely. You had brilliant minds like Al-Sufi meticulously charting constellations.
Incredible detail.
And Maryam al-Astrolabi making these amazing advancements with the astrolabe.
Right, the measuring instrument.
And it's pretty amazing to think that their work might have been partly inspired by those very Quranic verses we were just talking about.
So you see a potential thread connecting them.
Well, you can potentially see one. The intellectual curiosity, maybe sparked by the Quran, combined with, the cultural and societal factors of the time, it fueled this incredible period of scientific progress.
Like Al-Biruni.
Al-Biruni's early ideas about Earth's rotation, and the sophisticated observatories built in Baghdad. These weren't isolated things.
Part of a whole ecosystem.
Exactly, a vibrant intellectual ecosystem. I mean, think about Surah Qaf, verse 6. Have they not looked at the heaven above them, how we structured it and adorned it, and how it has no rifts?
You can see how that might encourage a really detailed look at the sky.
Precisely, a close examination.
And it wasn't just looking up either, the math they developed back then.
Oh, fundamental. Like Al-Khwarizmi's algebra. It's still foundational today, isn't it?
Absolutely. Our sources even point out its ongoing relevance in modern science. NASA uses these very mathematical principles.
Wow. So things like algorithms?
Algorithms, a cornerstone of Al-Khwarizmi's work. That same logic basically underpins so much of modern computing, including, calculating spacecraft trajectories. It really shows the long-lasting impact.
It does. However, our sources also add an important bit of context.
Which is?
That even within that golden age, thinkers like Al-Biruni apparently faced criticism for some of their scientific ideas.
Yes. That's crucial. It reminds us that the relationship between faith and scientific inquiry, it's always involved discussion, sometimes even debate. It wasn't always smooth sailing.
Okay, right. Now, let's shift gears a bit to something maybe a bit more mind-bending.
Go on.
The idea of wormholes. One of our sources touches on how some interpret Surah 55.33.
Penetrate the heavens.
Exactly, interpreting that as maybe possibly alluding to these theoretical shortcuts through space-time. That seems like a big leap.
It definitely stretches the imagination, doesn't it? And as our sources correctly point out, wormholes are still very much in the realm of theoretical physics.
Stemming from Einstein's relativity.
Correct. We don't have any actual proof they exist. None. So interpreting Surah 55.33 as a direct scientific prediction is, it's more of a metaphorical exploration, perhaps.
Exploring possibilities, human limitations.
Exactly. Facing the sheer vastness of the cosmos. It speaks to that human desire to overcome boundaries, I think.
The source also brings up the Prophet's night journey.
Surah 17.1, yes.
And how its miraculous nature, traversing huge distances so rapidly, might feel a bit wormhole-esque.
It might evoke that feeling, yes. But again, the emphasis has to be on its profound spiritual meaning.
Not a scientific explanation.
Absolutely not. It's crucial to distinguish between the language of theology and the language of, science. The night journey is a deeply significant spiritual event. While it might spark our imagination when we think about modern physics, its primary context is firmly within religious understanding.
Okay, got it. So from these theoretical cosmic shortcuts, let's come back down to Earth, or maybe look up at the satellites.
Starlink.
Yeah, Elon Musk's Starlink and just the bigger picture of space exploration today. Our sources explain how Starlink is providing really crucial internet access to remote areas. Ukraine is mentioned specifically.
A real-world impact, definitely, connecting people through this massive network of satellites.
It is. But there's a but.
There often is with technology, isn't there?
This technological achievement also brings a challenge. Our sources highlight this growing concern about the negative impact of thousands of satellites on our ability to observe the cosmos clearly.
Light pollution, radio interference.
Exactly. They can hinder our study of the very stars that the Quran refers to as signs. I think it was Surah 67.3 to 4.
That's right. So you have this fascinating tension Progress versus observation.
It really is a cosmic balancing act, isn't it? On one hand, practical benefits connecting the world. On the other, a potential obstacle to our basic ability to look up and learn about the universe.
But then our sources also point out that other SpaceX missions, like the Psyche mission to explore asteroids.
Right, going to things in space.
That could be seen as fitting with the Quranic encouragement in Surah 29.20 to travel through the earth and see how he began creation, exploring creation.
So it's like a cosmic tug of war, as one source put it.
That's a perfect way to describe it, actually. Think about the Golden Age astronomers.
Okay.
With their meticulous observations, their star charts. They likely have been utterly amazed by rockets and space travel.
Mind blown.
Completely. Yet, they would also likely be deeply concerned about anything that obscures our view of the night sky, given how important it was to their science and their whole cultural understanding.
It's also interesting Elon Musk's comments about his satellites not detecting UFOs, and how that relates, or doesn't, to Quranic verse 42.29, which mentions creatures in the heavens.
Scattered through them.
Our sources suggest this verse kind of leaves room for interpretations about extraterrestrial life, right? Especially with NASA actively looking for exoplanets.
It highlights the remarkable adaptability or perhaps breadth of religious texts. The Quran's reference to creatures can be understood quite broadly.
Potentially encompassing life beyond Earth.
Potentially, yes, should it ever be discovered. Such a discovery wouldn't necessarily contradict the text, but could rather broaden our understanding of the scope and the sheer diversity of creation.
So bringing it all together then, what do you see as the ongoing relevance of the Quran to space exploration today? Our sources mention verses like Surah 67.3, look again, seest thou any flaw?
Right. Look again, keep looking.
As maybe inspiring this continuous spirit of exploration and inquiry from those ancient star catalogs all the way to the Mars rovers we have now.
Precisely. In this context, the Quran isn't acting like a scientific textbook, is it?
No, definitely not.
It's more like a powerful source of inspiration for seeking knowledge, for contemplating the universe. And the idea of balance is key too, as our sources mention.
Balance between what?
Between technological advancement that benefits humanity, which you could say resonates with the community focus in Quran 3.110, and the vital importance of preserving our ability to observe and study the cosmos, which is a theme that echoes throughout the text. Find that balance.
And what about the hypothetical discovery of life on Mars or somewhere else? Our sources seem to suggest it wouldn't necessarily clash with the Quran.
Not necessarily, no.
It might actually enrich our understanding of creation,
Yeah.
fitting within that verse about creatures in the heavens.
That's a crucial point. Such a monumental discovery would undoubtedly spark huge theological and philosophical discussions, of course.
Sure.
But as our sources indicate, the Quran's language seems inclusive enough to allow for the possibility of life beyond our planet.
Yeah.
It could potentially deepen our appreciation for the vastness and complexity of God's creation.
So, okay, to wrap up our deep dive today, we've kind of journeyed through some incredible connections, haven't we?
I really have.
From early Quranic verses that some interpret as hinting at cosmic expansion and orbits, to the flourishing of science in the Islamic Golden Age, maybe partly sparked by those verses.
A potential link there.
Then the more theoretical ideas like wormholes, and finally this complex interplay between modern tech like Starlink and the Quran's emphasis on observing the heavens.
Ultimately, it seems the Quran functions less as a manual for space travel.
Right.
And more as a profound source of wonder, a powerful catalyst for asking those really fundamental questions about the universe.
Encouraging exploration.
In a continuous spirit of exploration, yes, and contemplation of the cosmos. It seems to foster an ongoing dialogue between faith and scientific discovery.
Okay, so that leaves us with a final thought for you, the listener. As we keep pushing the boundaries of technology, expanding our understanding of the universe, how do we find that crucial balance?
The balance between progress and our inherent human curiosity about the cosmos.
Yeah, that curiosity that seems ignited by both ancient wisdom and the latest scientific breakthroughs. What is that fundamental cosmic spark that keeps driving our quest for knowledge?
Something to really think about long after our deep dive concludes.
Thank you for joining us for today's podcast. I hope you've gained some valuable insights. If you're a truth seeker, yearning for divine light and ready to step out of darkness, now is your moment. The truth is that Allah is the one and only creator of the universe. He has sent over 124,000 messengers and prophets to guide humanity, starting with Adam and culminating with the final messenger, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon them all. If you resonate with this message, you might be ready to embrace Islam. Simply recite the Shahada, the Islamic declaration of faith. For further support, feel free to join our WhatsApp group. You can send us a private message there. The link is in the video description. Don't wait until it's too late. We look forward to connecting with you soon.